Hi everyone, it's Gillian and welcome to my channel. And for today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to join these squares using an invisible seam. If you're interested in this pattern, there'll be a link in the description. I will also put it in the upper right hand corner and again at the end of this tutorial. Let's get started. Before we begin seaming the squares together, if you're going to be using this exact pattern, you want to make sure that the squares are in the right sequence, and this is the right sequence. As you can see, there is a square that kind of outlines the pattern. And what's going to happen is that when you join the squares together, it's going to look like one big square in versus 4 squares joined together. I also want to mention that I only did 4 rounds for this tutorial, whereas in the original tutorial I think it was like 6 or 7 rounds. So if you want to have bigger squares, that's an option. Let's start by getting these 2 out of the way. And for this square, I don't have a chain space in the corner, so I'm going to be using the treble crochets in the corner as my chain space. You're going to put the squares with the right side facing each other. And we're going to be working into the back loops of the squares. And on the corner here, it's very easy. We're going to be using the treble crochets. So on the corner here, the treble crochets are 2 different colors. The back loop is going to be the loop closest to you. And for the next square, the back loop is going to be the loop away from you. So we're going to go into the back loop of both squares like that. And the back loop of the first square and the second square, just like that. And this is going to be your repeat. So the back loop and the back loop of the next square. And you're just going to repeat that sequence. And if you have the right amount of stitches, everything should line up evenly. All your stitches should have the same amount of stitches on each side. And you can go ahead and give your stitches a little tug like that halfway through and keep going. Maybe if it works better for you to leave it until the end, you can definitely do that. So just try and see which way works best. There's no wrong way or right way. When you get to the end of the square, you're going to be working into the 2 treble crochet stitches just like you did in the beginning. So you're going to go into the back loop of each of those stitches. You can just go ahead and pull. We can flip it over to see what it looks like here. And we're going to get ready to add the other 2 sets of squares. Right side facing each other. And we're going to join in the same way. We're going to be working into the treble crochets, the first treble crochet, and into the next treble crochet. And you're going to continue the same way you did the first 2 squares. And I just like to give a little tug here so that there's not too much of a loop in between the squares. And just continue repeating that all the way to the end, and I will meet you there. And at the end of the row here, you're going to do the same thing, and you're going to be working into the back loop of the 2 treble crochet stitches. You're just going to tighten. And if you need to tighten more, you can go ahead and do that. So now we're going to get ready to seam vertically. So first we did horizontally, then we're going to do vertically. For the vertical join, we're going to flip our work over. We're going to fold it like this. And we're going to be seaming in the same way. So we're going to start with the first treble crochet into the back loop, and then we're going to go over to the back loop of the next treble crochet. And we're going to repeat. You're going to repeat this sequence until you get to the center of the 4 squares, and we'll meet there and I'll show you what to do next. We're now close to the center of the 4 squares, and we have 2 more stitches to work. There's 1 stitch here, and then there's another stitch. And we're going to work the next stitch the same way we've been doing it. We did the other. So we're going to go into the back loop of both of those squares. And for the next stitch, you're going to work into the front loop first, and you're going to work front loop of the next stitch, and then the front loop of into the next square. So you have to move this one out of the way a bit. You're going to find that front loop right there. And you're now going to work the back loop of the same stitch. And you're going to go over to the next set of squares, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to work the front loop first, and on this square it's a little bit easier because it's not already, it's away from the middle. So that's the front loop right here. And you're going to grab the front loop of the next stitch. You're going to find that treble crochet stitch, which is right here. And then you're going to work the back loop of the same stitch. You're going to flip that over so you can see. You can just go ahead and pull tight on that. You can just go ahead and give that a little bit more tug if you need to. And then you're going to continue working your squares the same way as you did the others, and you're going to be working into the back loop and then the back loop of the next square. And you're going to repeat that all the way to the end. At the end, you're going to work into the back loop of the last 2 treble crochet stitches. And this is the way you're going to add your squares, and you're going to do this until everything is completed. You're going to sew in your ends and enjoy your work. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. Please like and subscribe for more video tutorials, and I will see you in the next video.